Hi guys. So, my husband got a ring light for Christmas and I just stole it. So, tell me if this is good or not. It's a little bit taller than my other one, so I'm starting to get like 2010s vibes. You know, where we all thought that like this angle was the best angle right here, you know. But tell me, if you like it or not, if I should keep it. It's been like really rainy and gross here lately, so this helps out a lot. So A plus for the awesome Christmas present. Speaking of Christmas, good job on making it through the holidays. Yeah, good job. It is January 1st. Happy New Year, 2022. And I'm gonna go over my December wrap up. And that's my cat. Lilith. She always has to make an appearance in these videos. She's just such a camera hog. Hey! Well, as everyone saw in my Merry and Bright readathon, I finished 2 books for that, and I completed the readathon. I completed all the prompts, which is awesome. You can see the vlog. I'll link it below if you'd like. But during that vlog, I finished the Folk of Air trilogy by Holly Black with The Queen of Nothing, which I gave 2 stars and was highly disappointed in. So that was a fun ride. I was hoping that it was going to get better after the second book, but it didn't. Don't like Jude and Carden as a couple. Don't like any of the characters or their motivations. They didn't make any sense. So that's where we're at with that. Book Talk let me down with that one. So far, Book Talk had a winning streak for a while, like with the fantasy romance. They were killing it. And then that was disappointing. On the better side, The Snow Child by Wynne Ivy was amazing. This book is about a couple who are unable to conceive. So in order to get away from family and kind of like the pressures of having kids around and everything else, they go to Anchorage, Alaska during the gold rush in the 1920s. And it is a beautiful book. I loved Mabel. I felt her. She's the main character. You see her come into herself during this. You're like rooting for her the whole time because you know what's wrong and you want her to figure it out for herself, and she does, and it's beautiful. Her best friend Esther is also amazing. She's like this rugged Alaskan chick, and I love it. I lived in Alaska for 2 years, so like the vibes in this book were absolutely spot on, absolutely perfect. Yeah, her husband was so sweet. I forget what it was. Mabel, and what was her husband's name? Jack. Were sweet. The premise is like they go to Anchorage. Like I said, they go to Anchorage, Alaska, to get away from everything. What happens is that there's a snowstorm. They build a snowman, and that snowman turns into a girl, and they kind of adopt this girl and bring her into the family. And there's a lot of found family, and there's a lot of, like I said, growing into yourself. So I think was a big theme of this book was growing into yourself, and I loved that. It was so beautiful. The writing was beautiful. Highly recommend. 4 out of 5 stars. The next book was A Man Called Oaf, or Uwe. I don't know how people pronounce his name, because on the back it says all you need is of, so I guess that's how you pronounce it, like love, of. Frederick Bachman. I've read a couple of his other books, Anxious People most recently, and I find that he has a way of writing that is beautiful and poignant, but not stuck up. Like, it's easy to read and it's easy to fall in love with. Let me tell you what it's about. So it is about the first 2 minutes of Up by Pixar. So if you've ever seen Up, the movie, the first 2 minutes, the saddest moments in Pixar history, that is this book. Okay? We just extended it 300 pages and continually ripped your heart out. It's beautiful. It's about an older man who loses his wife and finds community, is basically what happens. It's like he's a grumpy old man. He's stuck in his ways, and he finds his community, and it's very beautiful, and I loved it. The next book I read was Digg by A.S. King. I read this because of Books and Lala. She read this like probably a couple years now ago. I watch all of her backlisted videos 100%. I think that's what you call it, like backlist. I don't know, I'm gonna start that trend. But A is King by Digg, and this book I wasn't expecting it to be as dark as it was, to be honest with you. Very tragic. So it's basically about a town. In this town there is a family. The older generation, I want to say that it wants to say something about generation. So the older generation raises a family, but this generation is well off. They're successful. They have 6 kids. Everything that you should think should be good, right? Those kids should be successful. Well, those kids end up not being successful in their lives in the way that like we think people should be successful, and they have kids themselves. So it's like a generational thing. And you see that these kids see their parents' struggles and are making their lives better, and actually are turning out to be like really great kids. And you know, it's an interesting dynamic to see. Like I said, in a small town, it's all built around like potatoes, which is funny because I think that also has something to do with like the roots and generation and like where you come from and how you grow. It's very beautiful. I tabbed it quite a bit. Actually, I don't use tabs. I fold corners, so my bad. It was a really quick read. It took me like 2 days to read, and has very interesting like there's a ton of characters, which isn't confusing, which in itself is a challenge, and A+ for A is King for being able to do that. But it has an interesting format. Love it. Would recommend. A+, 4 out of 5 stars for that one as well. A Man Called Oaf was 4 out of 5 stars. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I bawled my eyes out. Same thing with The Snow Child, Me and Mabel. You have it. Trigger warning for child loss for that book too. Should have mentioned it when I was talking about the book, but yeah. The second to the last book I read was Bloody Jack by L.A. Meyer. This is a reread. This is a book I read when I was in middle school. I absolutely loved it then. I still love it now. It's kind of like a comfort read. I always want to go back to this. I would definitely recommend it. It stands the test of time, at least for me. Like I said, I'm nostalgic about it, but I think it stands the test of time. It is about a orphan in London who disguises herself as a boy and gets onto a naval vessel as a ship's boy, and the adventures that she ends up in. I think it's a nautical adventure. I love that. Love those books. Will always read them. She ends up in a bunch of shenanigans. She fights pirates. She travels the world. She continues to try to disguise herself. She falls in love. It's a beautiful story. Going to read the 3rd book in January. I know, spoiler for my January TBR, but I'm gonna read the 3rd book in January. I'm gonna skip the 2nd one because it's not one of my favorites. But yeah, and we'll see how that goes, how that reread goes. I'm enjoying it so far. Like I said, a comfort read, something easy to read. I love going back to the characters. Mary, the main character, is my muse. I love her so much. The next book I read, I actually went on Instagram and I put up a poll for whether or not I should read Jojo Moyes or Mariana Zapata. So I've been talking about All Roads Lead Here in my past few videos. Haven't picked it up yet. And then on this TBR, I had Jojo Moyes, The Girl You Left Behind. And one of my best friends voted for Mariana Zapata, and I decided to just go ahead and read All Roads Lead Here, which I read on my Kindle. It's amazing. So I think I was right in saying like I love slow burn romances, because right now I'm about 75% in, and I'm like on the edge of my seat. I need them to get together. It is about a songwriter who she ends up divorced. She leaves Nashville, basically like the Hollywood of songwriters, goes back to her hometown. In her hometown is where her mom disappeared. She was hiking and disappeared. So you're kind of like getting that on the side. Her journey in rediscovering herself, discovering her mother, and like trying to find connections with her and what she went through, and also hanging out with the very hot retired Navy captain landlord who is like, it's that sunshine grumpy trope, which I love because that's true to my life. Sunshine grumpy always, all the time. I love it. The dialogue is so much fun because like you can tell that the male character Rhodes is into her, but she still is just like completely like oblivious to the fact. And there's like this thing that they do throughout the book that he calls her Angel, and she keeps thinking that he's calling her Angel like her name is Angel, and she keeps correcting her and saying like, no, my name's Aurora. And it has me going. I don't know why, but I find that so hilarious. Absolutely love it. It's very like Eat, Pray, Lovey. Just a sweet romance. And I think I need more slow burn. So if you have any more recommendations for good slow burn romances, please send them my way. Anyways, I think I had like a really good reading month. I didn't have anything that Queen of Nothing, but I'm gonna forget I ever read it. We're just gonna get rid of that series off my bookshelf and forget about it. I'm still gonna read The Book of Night by Holly Black as an author, even though her characters really make me angry. But anyways, hope you guys had, like I said, a wonderful holidays. Congrats on surviving, and I will see you in my later video. Sorry about not posting like the past week and a half. I was traveling in Texas and just wanted to travel and not have the stress. I have 2 kids, and sometimes it's easier just to travel and not think about videos or Instagram, but we're back on the train for 2022, and I hope to hear from all of you guys soon.